This morning, a St. Louis County Circuit judge decided not to drop charges against Missouri Governor Greitens. Greitens is charged with invasion of privacy. He is accused of taking a nude picture of his former mistress and using it as blackmail. A lot to discuss today. We have Matthew Harris, who is an assistant professor of political science at Park University. Thanks for coming. This is a lot going on in the world of politics and law. So what's your take on the judge's decision today? Greitens' lawyers wanted this dismissed. The judge said no.
Well, ultimately, it has to be viewed as a win for the prosecutors. Obviously, Judge Burleson did admonish them, and there will be some sanctions, potentially monetarily. But ultimately, the important piece here is that no evidence will be dismissed. Evidence will be allowed to be used, and the charges were not dropped or dismissed. So the charges stay, the evidence stays, because ultimately what the judge decided was that these cases of prosecutorial misconduct were not enough to permanently tilt the playing field against Greitens. They can be fixed. The defense will take some new depositions, and ultimately the judge believes that he can still have a fair trial.
So let's talk about the judge was not, kind to prosecutors. I mean, the judge did admonish them as well. Explain what happened and what that means.
Well, so in criminal trials, there's something called discovery, which means that the prosecutors have to show the defense the evidence that they have, even evidence that might be beneficial to the defense. And the judge said that there were some pieces here that the prosecution did not turn over. But ultimately, it was not enough to permanently tilt the field. Those are errors that can be corrected. And so this has to be viewed, because it will still go to trial on May 14th, has to be viewed as a win for the prosecution.
So let's talk about what this means politically. What's the impact? What's the ramifications of all this?
Yeah, so really, Greitens is kind of fighting on three fronts here. There's the potential computer tampering case that A.G. Hawley talked about the other day. You have this case, obviously, and then potential impeachment. I think politically, one of the interesting pieces to watch in the coming days will be to see if the White House gets involved, because there have been some rumblings, of some backdoor discussions between Republicans in Jeff City and the White House, because obviously it's not great for the Republican Party when you have a sitting Republican governor facing potential felony charges on multiple fronts. So given the elections coming up in November, given that Josh Hawley is potentially the Republican nominee for Claire McCaskill's Senate seat, the political ramifications, and if Washington gets involved, if the Trump administration gets involved, will be interesting to keep an eye on.
Well, that'd be interesting if the Trump administration gets involved, because right now, House and Senate leaders in Missouri are saying Greitens should go.
Right, and the other interesting piece is I read some speculation that, well, Greitens being a former Navy SEAL, maybe he would stand down and resign if he's told to do so by the commander-in-chief. However, if he doesn't, then that's obviously not a great look for the Trump administration, right? If Trump asks him, comes forward publicly, asks him to step down, and he still doesn't, that's not a great look for the Trump administration.
All right, a lot going on. We'll have you back as new developments happen. Thanks so much for coming and sharing.
Thank you.